service, as we say. Got a wee pads up here with Shando, the boss man. We'll do about 45 minutes to an hour in the pads, just all sort of mostly technical stuff, but still a good workout. You know what I mean? The thing with Shando is he doesn't stop. If you see him here now, he doesn't stop for the entire 45 minutes to an hour, like not one stop. Whereas usually with most people we do rounds or we take breaks, but Shando just prefers to just go the entire time. So it's good, like you gotta be tuned in for this session. Shando's a very, very technical pad holder and he wants you to do everything right, which I like, because once you start getting a wee bit more tired, like around the 30-minute mark, like he's making sure you're still hitting right, you know what I mean, and your technique's not sort of suffering at all, so.
Open up more. So you're pulling a bit this side, so you're coming off this side. I want you to stay centre and let the hand come out more from the shoulder.
This is one of my most enjoyable sessions of the week, like, so it's a good way to start your Sunday service. Some cage work and some grapple. You know, we've just done our striking with Shando, so Pat's going to take him through a few things that we've been working on. Just sort of tighten everything up, do you know what I mean? As the hard work's done at this point, there's nothing really more that you're going to learn when you're this close to a fight. But it's just good to just keep everything sharp and obviously get a wee extra sweat on, a wee bit of extra work on a Sunday, so it's good. And then obviously having Pat to be able to pick his brain here, just have him to myself here on a Sunday is great. Like.
But I know you're going to look to take me back, so go. I'm going to be coming here, and then as I go, watch. Now, nearly let me, and go. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
We don't change the game plan. There's no certain game plan for each person. It's just nothing changes whatsoever. Obviously, we'll tighten things down on, especially in the striking aspect. But as far as the grappling against the cage goes, like he'll show he's a different level to this guy.
We know certain things we want to do, certain things we want to capitalise on, but ultimately, like when we get in there, it's just go with the flow. It's where we can go everywhere. Do you know what I mean? We're comfortable everywhere, so it's actually a good thing to come into a fight and just go. Whatever happens, happens. Do you know what I mean? We're comfortable everywhere. We don't need to do this to win the fight. We don't need to do that to win the fight. We don't need to avoid him doing this to win. So it gives you a good peace of mind going into the fight, because I'm comfortable obviously in my skills, and Pat's comfortable in my skills as well as a coach. So
Paul's been here now training with me 5, 6, 7 years. When he first came up, he just had loads of ability and just natural talent. Like as we're now, he actually knows what he's doing. Like, and it's unbelievable. Like other people's training, 5 or 6 years coming up, but he's here every night, and that's a lot. Like, and you can see it in his improvements. Like no one works harder. If the problem is you're not going to get another Paul Hughes. If everyone was like Paul, Jesus. Would all be insane, but there's nobody like him. That's what sets him apart. It's not just all talk or this and that, but nobody actually knows what he does. It's inspiring, and me as a coach, I have to keep up with that there. You know what I mean? So cleaner mentality needs cleaner coach.
I gotta keep up with him. I gotta keep up with all this fucking stuff he comes in with. 2 notepads a day. You know what I mean? But as I say, as I've said loads of times in the past, when you got an obsessed fighter and an obsessed coach, it's a recipe for success, and we're proving it. 2 weeks to prove it again. I think that's why sometimes beginners and stuff improve so fucking fast, is because every single thing coach says is new to them and they just take it as gospel and they're doing it and practicing it. Sometimes you get on in your career, you get a bit lazy and you think that I do these certain things, well, I'm going to stick to that and be lazy. But as we were just saying, that's how you sort of halt your improvements. Do you know what I mean? If you're not learning, you're losing. Refuel time. You know what I mean? Sunday service is complete. Time to refuel. Best in the game. Shout out Ruben's Meals. Doesn't get any better. Does not get any better. They've been supplying my meals since the start of last year, coming up to 2 years now. Every single week they've been fueling me, you know what I mean? They've been fueling this journey. I'm just about to heat this up in the microwave. Be a 4-minute job. I mean, that's my refuel, 60 grams of protein a meal. Do you know what I mean? 700 calories, 750 calories. It's just too handy. Do you know what I mean? How can I go wrong when I have everything done for me, especially with the nutrition? So shout out to them. It makes everything a lot smoother this time of the camp. So just taking it on a wee trip around God's land, around Lavey, County Derry. I mean, this is part of the the ritual is coming down here on a Sunday and seeing Mum and Dad, chilling out basically after a hard week. This is where I'm from. This is where I come every Sunday to chill out, to see Mum and Dad. This is where everything began for me. You know me, my sporting journey, and where majority of my life so far has been spent in this pitch with these lads, with this community. You know what I mean? Lavi's my home. It's so good to come down here. I try to come down every Sunday to see my Mum and Dad, especially after a hard week's training, which is every week. It's so nice to come down and just chill out. Obviously to see them, it's so important. Do you know what I mean? They're like my two best friends as well. I'll never forget where I'm from. Lavi will always be such a huge part of my life. Do you know what I mean? My brother still, all my friends play in the team still. Like if I hadn't found MMA, I'd still be there with the lads on the pitch here at the minute. I just took a little detour. First dream growing up was watching the seniors. Do you know what I mean? Watching the Lavi OGs, you know what I mean? Big Kevin McCloy, like all them lads. Like it was always sort of the thing I looked at, was like being like, I can't wait till I'm senior, to like everybody's out watching the games and it's so competitive and it's high standard and it's taken so seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like people's lives, this is people's lives, and it was and still is a big part of my life. But like the passion and the community that the GAA brings is just unbelievable, and it's like it's such a good way to grow up, to have this environment. I think the reason that I fell in love with MMA so much was the competitiveness of it, and obviously that's why I loved the GAA as well, and I loved being here in the games because it was competitive. You know what I mean? I always loved sport, obviously, but it was that competitive side of MMA where it's just you in the cage and nobody, like it's literally all down to you. Do you know what I mean? If it goes right, it's all down to you. If it goes wrong, it's all down to you. It's just the ultimate form of competition, getting locked into a cage and fighting another trained killer. It sounds sort of corny, but I always knew that I would make something of myself. And I know it sounds sort of funny, but I always knew I had the potential to be really good at something and to be great. Like, as I said about like playing GA, like as a kid and as a teenager, like I always left my heart and soul on the pitch. Like I loved sport, I loved competing, but I always knew that I was gonna do something with myself. And I think because I've always been a workhorse, I've always been willing to put the work in to whatever I do. I was always the kid that was staying after training, coming before training, going for extra runs. Like that was me always. That was always me. I was always just willing to put the extra work in. And I know like you can have talent, but I mean you gotta have the hard work as well. So I knew I would be great at something, and it's crazy how like you hear about the butterfly effect and how certain wee small things can influence you and influence your life then. Finding MMA was the turning point in my life, I feel. Since then, and since I started competing like at a high level at amateur, then I started just realizing I can be great. I mean, I can be something in this sport. I knew I was good, obviously, because I was fighting at the highest level at such a young age, but I never knew, or even at that point believed in where I could go. And it was until probably my pro debut where I won and KO'd the guy in like 90 seconds. That I was in the SSE in Belfast, and I took that one in like a week's notice. Went in and smoked the guy in the first round, and the whole fight went viral. Like there was a lot of hype, and after that I was just like, that's it. Like I'm all in. Do you know what I mean? I know what I can do. Do you know what I mean? I know I can be a world champion in MMA, and there was a day where I just said, that's it. You know what I mean? I just wrote it down. World champion. Cagewarriors world champion. I wrote that down, and we're well on track. Do you know what I mean? A couple of fights away, and we'll get that.